September 19. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. The debate on the continuations of the state of emergency should continue at Gordon House today. The House of Representatives yesterday delayed voting on a resolution to extend the state of emergency in St. Catherine North after the opposition refused to take part. Leader of Opposition Business, Philip Paulwell, informed the House that the opposition would not be participating in the debate as they were only advised on Monday night of the agenda for Tuesday's sitting, describing the late notice as unacceptable. Leader of Government Business, Carl Samuda, appeared puzzled by the declaration and sought further clarification on whether the opposition had intended to vote on the matter in that sitting. Mr. Paulwell responded referring to data requested about the current performance of the Zozos and state of emergency.
We should give the opposition enough time to consider our position for the government to share certain information.
The opposition has maintained that the government will have to present more convincing evidence to get its support for a further extension of the states of emergency. With the opposition refusing to budge, Prime Minister Andrew Holness proposed a compromise.
I will proceed with the debate. I think we can easily vote on the extension of the zones of special operations. And we encourage the members to consider as the debate evolves whether or not they would make the decision. If they are not willing to make the decision, then we could call a special sitting tomorrow to have it done.
The government was hoping to have the SOE bill passed yesterday as the timeline for its current extension expires on October 2. And Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who normally leads the debate for the extensions, will be away as of next week on government business. Eventually, both sides agreed to go ahead with the debate, but while the resolution extending the law reform, zones of special operations, special security, and community development measures, the Denham Town Community Zone extension of Period Operation Order 2018 was passed. The second bill, the Emergency Powers Continuance Resolution 2018, seeking to extend the state of emergency in North St. Catherine Police Division beyond October 2, had to be postponed until today. The Ministry of Transport and Mining has uncovered a scam in which unscrupulous individuals have been charging unsuspecting applicants up to $200,000 to process road licenses since the opening of the transport liberalisation pilot last Monday. Portfolio Minister Robert Montague launched a public transport liberalisation pilot project, which he said would result in the opening of 1,260 routes across the island, 100 spaces on select Jamaica Urban Transit Company sub-franchise routes, and the offer of Hackney taxi road licenses to the market on September 10. Under the pilot, the additional routes, which will include 996 taxi routes and 264 rural stage carriage routes, will be opened for a 12-week period ending November 30, 2018. Additionally, the Transport Authority will consider applications for Hackney carriage service in St. James, St. Anne, Westmoreland, Trelawney, and Manchester. A new $1 million road will be constructed to bypass the 3 miles area in Kingston, which has been closed to vehicular traffic to facilitate continued road improvement works. To be completed by the end of October, the road, which will link Chesterfield Drive to Marcus Garvey Drive, will be built by China Harbour Engineering Company Limited, Czech. Prime Minister Andrew Holness and representatives from Czech signed a contract to undertake the works during a ceremony at Jamaica House on September 17. Mr. Holness said it was recognized that with the closure of 3 miles, the designated alternative routes would not be sufficient, and that this new 2-lane, 1.4-kilometer road, which is part of the government's overall development plan and traffic management strategy, would be necessary. The government has earmarked lands located at the Maxfield Park Children's Home in Kingston for the construction of a therapy center for wards of the state affected by mental health issues. The Urban Development Corporation, UDC, has already drafted a preliminary design for the facility, and it is expected that construction will begin sometime next year. Funding for the project is expected to be provided by the government through the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, with additional funding support being sought by other stakeholder groups. State Minister in the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, Floyd Green, said the facility was vital and necessary. Green was speaking at the official opening of the newly constructed independent living complex for 40 females at 24 Lady Musgrave Road in St. Andrew this week. Livingston Kane, the juror accused of bribing fellow jurors in the Vybz Kartel, who's popularly known as Adidja Palmer murder trial yesterday, had his bail extended and will return to Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on October 18. On his last court appearance in September, Kane's attorney, Queen's Counsel Valerie Nita Robertson, made a no-case submission after the prosecution closed its case. Consequently, presiding parish judge Maxine Ellis, who had indicated that she needed time to familiarize herself with the evidence, postponed setting a date for the ruling. But yesterday, when the matter was mentioned, the prosecutor asked for a new date to be scheduled. Kane is being tried on 6 counts of attempting to pervert the course of justice and 1 count of conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, following allegations that he was captured on a phone recording, offering the jury foreman in the Kartel murder trial $500,000 for a not guilty verdict. In regional news, Trinidad and Tobago's state-owned oil refinery, Petrogen, has confirmed that all jobs will be lost when the refinery closes. It was explained at a press brief on Tuesday that the plan is to shut down, reconfigure operational policies, and rehire those with the skills needed to do the jobs required. That's the latest update on this ongoing story. We have a little more on this report.
The union meeting, we made it abundantly clear that the intention was that all the people should go. And of course, that has become a question as to, yeah, but what about this here and that there and that there? And I'm saying to you, the intention is that there will be a rehiring because the process of fitting the right people into the right position is a critical part of the process. And I can't imagine how that is going to be done unless you go into a system where you make it abundantly clear I think that in the early days we talked about having a fair, a work fair, and letting everybody apply and seeing if they fitted into the thing. But this is, for us, the way that the board has chosen to go, where we said, all right, well, in the essence of doing it fair and open, let's do it where everybody is removed and you hire back those that you need.
In sports, quarter-miler Kevin Nelson was reportedly gunned down at his home in Macville Terrace, Kingston, Tuesday morning. Reports are that gunmen invaded Nelson's home sometime after midnight and shot him. The 25-year-old athlete was subsequently taken to hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Nelson was a member of the Akan Track Club at the time of his death. His training partner, World Championship medalist Javon Francis, took to social media to express his grief about Nelson's death. The investigation into his murder continues. And that's the news. Thanks so much for making it PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom. Pleasant viewing.